Hello there! Today we're going to be talking about calculating the area under a curve using the first part of the Fundamental Theorem of Calculus. Unlike our approximation techniques, which can be cumbersome and unwieldy, this is miraculously straightforward and it finds the exact area. What is the first part of the Fundamental Theorem of Calculus, I hear you ask? Why, you can read it on your screen. For f of x continuous over the closed interval from a to b, if capital F of x is an antiderivative of f of x over the interval, then the integral from a to b of little f of x dx is equal to capital F evaluated at b minus capital F evaluated at a. Basically, what this means is that if you're trying to find the area between a function and the x-axis, all you have to do is find the antiderivative of that function and then subtract the values that you get for the endpoints of the interval. An important difference between these definite integrals and indefinite integrals is that we are going to get a numerical answer. What this means is that we don't have to put a plus c at the end of our antiderivative. Like I always say, if you have an a and a b, you don't need to put plus c. It's as easy as it sounds, so why don't we just try a couple of example problems? Our first problem asks us to find the integral from 0 to 4 of x squared plus 1. Remember, our integral symbol here tells us we need to find the antiderivative of the integrand. What's the antiderivative of x squared plus 1? Why, it's 1/3 x cubed, the antiderivative of x squared, plus the antiderivative of 1 is x. Next, we're going to put a vertical line with our two limits of integration 0 and 4. This says take your 4, plug it into your function here and get your answer, then take your 0, plug it into the function and get an answer, and then subtract the two answers. Effectively, we're saying do capital F of b and then do capital F of a and then minus the two things. So let x equal 4, and our first evaluation is going to be 1/3 times 4 cubed plus 4, close our parentheses here, and then we're going to plug in 0 for x. That will give us 1/3 times 0 cubed plus 0. Next, we'll evaluate. 4 to the third is equal to 64, which will give us 1/3 times 64, and then plus 4 will stay the same. I hope I don't need to explain why the second set of parentheses produces 0. Next, 1/3 times 64, we're going to leave that as the fraction 64 over 3, and we have to now add 4 to this value. Of course, when we add 4, we're going to need a common denominator, but we'll skip that step for now and go straight to the answer 76 over 3. What does this number represent? Why, it's the exact area between x squared plus 1 and the x-axis over the interval from 0 to 4. Imagine for a moment having to use our approximation techniques to get only an estimate of the area from 0 to 4. I hope you can appreciate just how spectacularly useful this first part of the Fundamental Theorem of Calculus truly is. Let's go ahead and try one more example problem, shall we? Our second example asks us to find the integral from 0 to pi over 2 of cosine of x. The integral symbol says take the antiderivative of cosine. The antiderivative of cosine, of course, is sine of x. We put our vertical line with the limits of integration 0 and pi over 2, and this tells us to evaluate our capital F of x at these two values and then to subtract them. So we will get sine of pi over 2. There you are. We'll scooch this over for a little more writing room. Minus sine evaluated at 0. Sine of pi over 2 is equal to 1, and sine of 0 is 0. 1 minus 0 is 1. That is our exact area. It's as easy as that. If you're trying to find the exact area under the curve over a specific interval, then you need to find the antiderivative of the function that produced the curve, and then evaluate the antiderivative at the endpoints. Take your capital F of b and then subtract capital F of a, and that will give you the area that you seek. In theory, it's beautifully simple, but in practice, it's about as complicated as your integrand. In other words, the difficulty of these problems depends on how hard it is to find the antiderivative of your integrand. More on that in other videos. And that's it! That's everything that needs to be said about the first part of the Fundamental Theorem of Calculus, at least for now. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you next time!